The Final Four, Chapter 13, Malcolm McBride, 7:42 p.m. Force him left! Make him use his offhand! Malcolm hears an assistant coach screaming from the sideline, like a ventriloquist dummy, with the near voiceless Coach Barker anchored at his shoulder. Meanwhile, Malcolm's thinking, Coach, don't scream it out loud for this Euro boy to know too. That's when Malcolm notices Rocco adjust, fighting for more room to his right. Doesn't matter if you know what's coming, snaps Malcolm as he cuts off Rocco's dribble completely, forcing him to pass. I could put you inside our huddle and give you the whole game plan. You'd still be a step behind me. I already know the game plan. Everyone does, Rocco responds. It's don't let Mr. One and Done stop us from playing like a team. Malcolm follows Rocco around a screen, sliding his feet on defense and never crossing them so he can move in any direction. Want to hear our game plan? Asks Rocco as Malcolm corners him. Let McBride shoot the ball all he wants, do it all himself. Then we'll be playing 5 against 1, in our favor. Except that 5 of you against me aren't enough, says Malcolm. It's still not even close to being enough. With the shot clock winding down, Aaron Boyce takes a fall-away jumper in the lane. He misses, and Baby Bear gobbles up the rebound for the Spartans. Malcolm gains control of the rock and starts up court. Now it's Troy's turn to defend, with Michigan State leading by a bucket in less than 4 minutes to play. Come and catch some of this one-man show, taunts Malcolm, 'cause nobody can stop it. Bring it, son, mimics Rocco from every movie he's ever seen about the hood as he balances low to the ground with his arms spread wide. Oh, you're my daddy now? Malcolm comes back. Never gonna happen. Malcolm fakes right, and then he crosses over to his left, but he can't shake Rocco, who's still right in front of him. Just me and you, nobody else, says Rocco. You can't. There's a loud crunch as Baby Bear steps out of nowhere, knocking Rocco flat with a hard screen. Unguarded now, Malcolm takes a step back behind the three-point line. He turns the rock between his fingers, feeling for the grips. Then he lets the shot fly with his hands, falling into a perfect gooseneck over his head. The shot goes in, and the ref raises both their arms in the air to signal that it's a 3. Red Bull, crows Baby Bear at Rocco, who's still on the floor. Down by 5 points, and with Rocco dazed, Coach Kennedy calls for a Trojan timeout. Money McBride, says Baby Bear, taking a running start at a powerful chest bump with Malcolm. We're the new Shrek and Donkey. No, he's Donkey, says Malcolm, pointing at Rocco, but I'll take that money tag. So Malcolm in this chapter is being Malcolm, and he's going one-on-one with Rocco here. And Rocco says, look, I don't need to learn the plays, the special calls for your team, because we all know it's give you the ball, Malcolm, right? Because you're not a team. You're a team of one. So it's all 5 of us on my team against you, because you're always the one wanting the ball. You're always the one taking the ball from your teammates, because you aren't part of a team. And so Rocco thinks he's doing a good job with Malcolm, but then out of nowhere, Baby Bear comes along and smacks Rocco into the ground. And Rocco hits his head really, really hard, which opens up the court for Malcolm to make a 3-pointer. From that morning's national newspaper, Moneyball shared by all but players. New Orleans, Louisiana. Moneyball could easily become the new catchphrase for the men's NCAA basketball tournament, and that green dollar colored basketball bounces in many directions, including the way of the NCAA, individual universities, coaches, television networks, and companies that hope to rake in more than they spend in advertising and sponsorship. The Moneyball, however, doesn't get passed around into the hands of the players, without whom there'd be no lucrative tournament. Collegiate players rarely gripe publicly about the system. All of that changed yesterday when Michigan State freshman Malcolm McBride, who will leave after a single season of college ball to enter June's NBA draft, challenged it head on. I heard that the NCAA makes something like $700 million on this tournament, and that my school can make $15 million. I know part of that number's off my back, my sweat. That's like slavery, said McBride at an NCAA-sponsored Final Four press conference. How is a substantial portion of that tournament money generated? The NCAA, which currently has a $6 billion 11-year TV deal with CBS, collects more than $700 million annually in broadcast fees and marketing rights. In turn, the network charges advertisers approximately $700,000 for a 30-second TV commercial during the Final Four. That price of advertising nearly doubles to around $1.3 million for the national championship game, with only the Super Bowl traditionally drawing more than the 40 million viewers expected to tune in. If those prices seem too high, network honchos can rest easy, knowing that official NCAA sponsors are actually required to buy commercial time for the tournament. The competing universities at this year's Final Four, Michigan State, Troy, Duke, and North Carolina, are in line for a windfall with free advertising. It is estimated that during the course of the tournament, these schools will have each received more than $500 million worth of exposure. That exposure strengthens student enrollment and donations from boosters and increases the quality of their incoming basketball recruits to field future tournament teams that could keep the money ball rolling their way for seasons to come. Tournament advertising isn't limited to TV, internet, radio, and print ads. Some college coaches are now renting out space on their game day sweaters. You'll see them prowling the sidelines with the sneaker company emblem or chain store logo emblazoned on their clothing. They also wear the sponsor's trademarks during TV interviews and to events. Many coaches, whose salaries already dwarf that of their university presidents, receive bonuses for advancing through various stages of the NCAA tournament as well. Several coaches reportedly have a bonus of up to $500,000 for winning the national championship. Video games licensed by the NCAA to outside companies mimic players' appearances and athletic moves. The games generate millions of dollars in sales without a penny going to the athletes. Because of their amateur status, college basketball players cannot endorse products for sponsors or even profit from the sale of replica jerseys with their name on the back. Yet players can be walking billboards for schools that sign exclusive product deals with sneaker and clothing companies. The players wear the shoes and other apparel during games, while the school collects the money. Part of me feels like my school and coach sold my soul to some sneaker company. These aren't even the kicks I like to wear. They get paid for it, and I have to deal with the blisters on my feet, said a player at the Final Four who did not want his identity revealed. I'm stuck in this system if I want to show the NBA what I've got. There's even a site on the web that's reselling tickets for the Final Four at $3,300 a piece. But I'm not allowed to resell the tickets that my school gave me. Go figure. Of course, every now and then the money ball takes an unexpected bounce. In 2009, Marcus Jordan, the son of Hall of Fame basketball legend Michael Jordan, began his college basketball career at the University of Central Florida. Upon recruiting Marcus Jordan, the university assured him that he could wear his father's Nike Air Jordan brand sneakers, despite UFC's exclusive $3 million deal with Adidas for its players and coaches to wear the company's shoes and apparel. When I was being recruited, we talked about it, Marcus Jordan told the Orlando Sentinel. They said they had talked to the Adidas people and that it wasn't going to be a problem. I think everybody understands how big of a deal it is for my family. So the UFC's opening game, while the rest of the team wore Adidas, Marcus Jordan had on Air Jordans. He did, however, don a pair of black ankle braces with the Adidas logo. But that wasn't enough to soothe the sneaker maker, and Adidas canceled their deal with the university. Seemingly lost in the fight for the money ball was the outcome of the game, which UFC won, defeating St. Leo 84-65. So this is an interesting news article that they put at the end of chapter 13, essentially just talking about all the money to be made in college sports, specifically the NCAA basketball tournament, and how the players don't see any of that money. And again, this book was written before NIL, so it is a little bit different now, of course, but it is fascinating to see how much the schools, networks, everyone makes off of this, all the way down to the coaches, except for the players. And it makes you think, okay, maybe that is a corrupt system, right? Because the players are the ones doing all the work, and yet they didn't see any of the profit at all. And they even have to wear like uncomfortable shoes that blister their feet. And we have this one story about how serious these companies are about their logo and about their advertising and how they spend their money with Marcus Jordan's son. And when he went to college at the University of Central Florida, it was an Adidas school. He wanted to wear his dad's Air Jordans, right? And Adidas ends up canceling the contract with the school because one player wore Nikes instead of Adidas. And so it just really shows you how much these companies are in it for the money and don't really care about the athletes themselves.